Hey guys, welcome back. This is Carter with BitsBeTrippin, and we're going to get right into this one today. Now, this is part 2 of the getblock.io video series that we're doing with getting you guys familiar with getblock.io and their Smartpool. And on this one, we sat down with them to have a discussion on what exactly is the Smartpool, how does it function, and what's the incentive and rewards that are in addition to just mining ERGO, and kind of how that works. So I'd asked their team to walk us through it. And the person that did it was Robert Kowick. He walks us through how it works, how it functions, how to navigate the Smartpool, and then obviously how to get it set up. Let's dig right into this one and turn it over to Robert.
ERGO.getblock.io is where miners would log on to access our UI or our dashboard where they would see their mining stat. As you enter the site, you kind of come to the main page here. And what this is showing you is really just the total pool. You know, we have a pool and we have sub pools, which are kind of kind of underneath, obviously the main pool. So this is, again, just a snapshot of all the pools together. Shows you total connected miners, the total hash rate of the pool. And then obviously, as you kind of dig in a little bit deeper, which we'll get to, it will show you, obviously more stats that are a little bit more detailed or defined. So again, maybe let's just start there. So, again, total pool, as you can see, it shows connected miners, what the total block reward is, difficulty, what the pool fee is. So that is our standard pool fee. We'll get into subpools and kind of talk about the fee structure there. Current block height of the network, the last block found, again, total pools, and then the top miner on the pool as well. There's also, a graph section here that we kind of, show, and, there's a few different selections that people can go through. Obviously, the first one and the default is the hash rate. So it will show you the total pool hash rate, network hash rate, the top miner on the pool, what their hash rate is, as well as the 30-day high. So it will show, obviously within 30 days, the highest hash rate that we've achieved is just about 700 gigahash. You can flip this to the network. So, some miners want to see, what's ERGO's network total hash rate. So we'll flip over that and show you a graph there. Then you could obviously change the frequency. So you can see that right now we have it, by day, and then obviously spread out over the month. And then you can see, effort of the pool or effort of the network. This is really just showing the pool right now. And effort, as everyone knows, that's the calculation that's used to measure the luck really on the pool since the last block was found. So, it does a calculation based off of time frame from the last block, again, the amount of hash rate and then the difficulty, and then it spits out really what the industry calls effort. You can see that over different frequencies as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's also known as luck too, right? On some.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every pool kind of uses their own terminology, but it's luck, effort. It's kind of just a measurement. And again, it's just based on from block to block. And I think 100% is kind of like, you want to stay under 100%. That's a good sign of good luck on the pool. Obviously, it's variable, right, from block to block. It's really good to look more at the average effort versus like what was the last block's effort, right? And as you can see here, our average is at 57.8%. So although we may have some high effort blocks, we also have very low effort blocks that may balance that out. Then we also have blocks. So this shows, how many blocks were found, over a course of time. Right now it's set to month. We also have a day. So we'll show you day by day the number of blocks that were found. Now, obviously, difficulty is increasing on ERGO a little bit just because of, the influx of miners. So, there is a little bit of a downtrend on blocks that have been found over the course of time. However, there was, a slight price increase. So, in theory, all of that should balance out as miners join the network. Price discovery should typically come along with that, and it should balance out the rewards that miners are making on a day-to-day basis. We also show this in different frequencies here, just some high level call outs, how many blocks were found in the last 24 hours, last week, last 30 days, then total blocks on the pool. So it really just kind of gives you an overview of how many blocks are being found within the total pool currently. So again, that's kind of the main thing that you see when you first log on to our page. But I don't think it gives us justice as to what's really behind the scenes here. Right? We all always talk about smart pools and then the sub pools that are behind it, right? So if you click here over onto our sidebar, we do have a section that's called Smart Pools. What this does, and it does take a second to load. It shows you all the pools that are kind of within our pool, right? So there's the get block pool, and then there's multiple pools that we call sub pools that are kind of underneath or below it, right? And just stopping right there for a second and giving kind of a brief overview of subpools and what was really kind of the original concept behind them and how we got to where we are today. So it was interesting. Subpooling was something that was actually developed. It was a command line script that was made for an ERGO hack project, right? Which is really just more of a it brings community members kind of into the ERGO community, gets them to build within the community. And at some point maybe those projects go a little bit further, they get funding or people behind them to kind of build them out further. So our lead developer kind of built out the original subpooling concept. And really what it was everyone's trying to get away from pools. There's this I guess this whole kind of negative connotation towards pools that they're skimming off the top, and that payouts are not trustless. So really the idea behind it was to allow people to solo mine, which you kind of control your own destiny, right? And then while also maybe letting a couple friends join you and be able to mine with you to increase your hash rate. It's more of a trustless system. You have a few friends that you do trust. You'll get rewards. There's no skimming. So that was really kind of the original concept. It was really just a pool, a couple of friends together, be able to share your hash rate in a solo mining effort, and then share those rewards. So we built the pool based on that, that foundation. And we said, how do we take this a little bit further? And, identifying that there was a smart contract required in order to build subpooling, we said, really, if we pull in smart contracts, we're starting to put a lot of the data on chain. And, outside of what we're just looking to do with the solo mining aspect, we're really creating this smart pool, right? And what does this smart pool do is it not only gives, visibility to miners as to, what their payouts are, what their share score is, any of the data that changes with the pool that you may see here, like fee structure, any of that information. A lot of this is actually being stored within the blockchain, which is not, something that you traditionally see on really any pools that are out there. So that again was kind of how we built smart pools, subpooling as a whole. But then we said, all right, well, now that we have this framework, it's great. What do we do with it? Like, it's great that it's transparent. It's great that people can see things on chain. But smart contracts have a lot of flexibility. They have a lot of utility. How can we continue to innovate in this space? So that's where we took subpooling a step further. It really started with, we found a way where we can distribute additional tokens on the pool, right? So traditional proof of work mining, you connect to a pool, you connect to a stratum, everyone's contributing their hash rate, trying to solve, that puzzle. And then in return, once a block is found, right, you solve that solution, you get rewarded for it, right? Well, what if we can find a way to, give additional incentive or additional rewards, or even, have a way to, provide some form of governance through token distribution? So within the smart contract framework, we've been able to develop what we call emission contracts. And within those emission contracts, we're actually working with projects, and they're inserting their own tokens that they've built within the ERGO ecosystem. And we found a way to not only distribute ERG, but we can distribute those tokens either in addition to the ERG rewards or in exchange for those ERG rewards. And then with that, what we've done is we've built these subpools, and each subpool kind of has their own payment scheme or their own scenario. So Comet, for example, they're a meme token built on the ERGO blockchain. Dogecoin, Shiba, every blockchain kind of has their own, dog-based meme coin, right? So,
Yep.
it's just more for fun. It's just, it's a standard meme coin. They do have some utility, but they're giving their tokens away in addition to ERG. So, this is kind of more of a what we call price plus. So you're getting your ERG plus some additional token that you can go in the ecosystem, maybe play around with memes, or, that's something that interests you. We also have an Anita BTC. So they're a protocol that's looking to, wrap Bitcoin on both Cardano and ERGO. They have also distributed their own tokens that do have a value currently. We've done several phases with them. We're actually at phase 3 right now. The first phase was really, they were issuing it was a swap. So miners would mine ERG, we'd take that total block reward and actually swap it with Neta tokens, which is only available on a DEX right now. And they were giving their tokens with along with the 22% additional rewards. Of course, they were swapping it immediately on the DEX. They were liquidating, and it, there was some selling pressure for the token itself, which obviously reduced the value of the token. But we've continued on. We reduced it to an 8% a bonus, and then actually just as of yesterday, we created something really innovative where they also have a side project where they distributed NFTs. And as people buy these NFTs, they're not only exposed to airdrops that the project is issuing themselves, but now if the pool identifies that they have one of these NFTs in their wallet, we're actually distributing them additional bonus tokens. So they're in theory earning additional rewards for mining on this pool just for holding one of these NFTs. So something unique, novel, right? NFT interaction with the mining pool is just another one of the sub pools. And then the last but not least sub pool that we have available is ERGO Pad. They're more of a launch pad built within the ecosystem. So with their tokens, you have access to like IDOs, initial DEX offerings. There is a staking option within their platform where you can earn additional rewards. And they're more or less a direct swap. They are providing, it does say 10% there, but it's at a 10% ratio. So they're really just offsetting the pool fees with their pool. And you're pretty much getting, ERGO Pad in addition to ERG for money on their pool. But that just kind of gives you a background on, sub pools and, what the difference is versus, what you may have seen to date, which is just, our standard default mining, which is, what many are used to. You log onto a blockchain, you're mining that specific coin, and then, you're getting that coin in return. And then again, we're taking it a step further with the sub pools.
First question is, if somebody wanted in the community to, if they're a developer and do they reach out to GetBlock and say, hey, here's an idea I have. I would like to launch on this platform. Also have a fourth option here. How do they reach out and include that? If, that NFT ideal is a pretty hot one right now where you're getting, minted rewards, maybe if you find a block, that kind of thing. How would they reach out to you guys?
Sure. Yeah. So, we always direct people to our email, obviously. So we'll provide that here at the end. But also, our socials, we have several socials. Someone's, around pretty much all the time, right? Blockchain never sleeps. But we're in Telegram, we're in Discord. We are in process actually of setting up. So we're obviously we built out a roadmap. We're looking to kind of expand on this. And one of the ideas that we have is creating what we call user-based subpools. So we'll build some framework around this. Maybe there'll be some form of an agreement. This is what you're getting as you sign up to a subpool. These are kind of like the emission guidelines on what we would like to recommend as far as how you should set it up, and then make it really easy where a user can literally just log onto the UI and create their own smart pool. But until we get there, yeah, definitely reach out to us. We're definitely in current conversations with multiple projects, and definitely open to supporting any new potential projects that are looking to build within this space.
I guess the real deep dive piece of it would be for if somebody wants to really look at those payouts and emissions data. Those are expandable emissions, miner data, block data, right? So
correct.
You can dive down into the particular. That's like metrics there, but is there a way to get to the contract and kind of see those transactions at a detail level?
Yes. Yeah, so and that takes a little bit of navigation currently, and
okay.
we're working on kind of laying that out where it's a little bit smoother. But right now, it's kind of relying on Blockchain Explorer. So you'd click here, you'd go into our wallet, so to speak, right? So that would be the mining pool wallet. And you'd have to do some navigating to find the emissions contract and things like that. Now we do post them in our socials, so miners are able to view that. And we do have a share data table here as well, which shows, obviously the pool, the epoch, which is really just, when we start a sub pool, epoch 1 is the first block found. Second block's epoch 2. So we're measuring just like any blockchain does, an epoch is basically block intervals. call out the block that's found, the actual transaction. And then this is where, this is where we're kind of updating this. This is all the miners that are in the pool, but the navigation through this is a little bit cumbersome. So we're actually, currently we have a UI dev on board. He's working on kind of fixing this a little bit, where it's a little bit more easier for people just to say, hey, where is my payment on the blockchain? Now, this is a call out, this is a direct API link to the blockchain itself. So you're seeing all the data that's being stored on the blockchain here. So again, miner share score. So, and we'll get into this maybe in another episode, but, all the shares that are submitted to a mining pool can't be stored on a blockchain. It's just too much data. And that's something as, that we're looking to kind of build out on, is how can we get more of that information on the blockchain? However, most pools use a share score. So they take all those shares, they calculate a value for it versus all the other miners that are on the pool. And then it's really just a ratio of what percentage shares you've submitted versus everyone else, right?
Yep.
So that gives you your true share numbers, the share percentage, the minimum payout, how much you're owed. So what happens is a miner sets a minimum payout. Well, that asset gets stored on the pool until we obviously hit that minimum payout. So it shows you what's currently stored on the pool, the total paid, and then the amount that was added for that last block find. And then if there were any tokens on that pool, so say they were on a Neta pool or maybe ERGO pad, it would show the tokens that they received as well as how many tokens they received. So that's the way we can view it now. But again, there is additional data here that you can, that you can scroll down and see. And then we do also have some additional tabs where you can see all the blocks that were found, right? And you could sort that by pool. And again, this is also all, it's typically stored on chain anyways, but you could see all the blocks found, the status, the effort, how much was rewarded. And then if you go here, you can actually see the hash. So that's what's recorded on the blockchain, as well as the miner who found the block. And I think this, but you put in your address, and then obviously it pulls up your personal stats. And then as you kind of click on some of these tabs, you can kind of see more details. So I think you saw that. I think yeah, that's what I thought. So, so there's that. But yeah, I think, again, that's really the background into the smart pools. There's obviously more behind that, with the science and, the what Karada's built, obviously within ERGO Strip and, kind of what we can do beyond this with this framework. I mean, like I said, we've done some things where we've created a voting mechanism for EIP 27, which was really a soft fork. It was to reduce the block reward. And currently the way ERGO is set up, it's really the miners have the vote, the miners have the say, but the only way that you can place a vote is by running a node and mining to that node, right? Which you need to have a stratum set up, right? So you need some form of infrastructure, which not, really individual miners can't do. So they rely on the pool to place a vote. So we utilize the smart contracts again to distribute tokens. Those tokens were used for a yes or no vote. And, our miners were able to kind of make the decision for the pool, while the pool was incentivized to put forth the right vote. Otherwise, it would have literally shut down our pool. We wouldn't have been able to find blocks. So it was just another use case or a way that we were able to use the smart contracts, on building a governance system. So it's really cool. Obviously we can, use this framework and kind of apply it to different use cases outside of what we're doing, currently here.
All right, guys, that was pretty cool. And we thank Robert for taking us through that. I like what ERGO's doing here, allowing people to have a little more incentive, and then incentivizes also builders and producers on the NFT front, on smart contract development, an ability to work and incentivize with smart contracts down to chain with pool shares and everything, miners to participate in their particular pool structure and still earn ERGO, still reinforce the security architecture. This is innovation. This is what we're seeing now. It's not just mining for a coin and then you're getting that coin and turning around and selling it for a turnaround profit. There's other potential utilities that can come out of this. This is the start of the crawl, walk, run type of strategy that I talk about. And it's nice to see ERGO providing that kind of infrastructure, GitBlock, taking advantage of that infrastructure that was part of the ERGO baseline and then turning it into an actionable thing within a pool structure. So hats off to GitBlock for, hosting that and showing us through their setup. You guys make sure you're liking and subscribing. We will have a part 3 where I want to dig one more layer deeper on GitBlock in general. And if you are a potential developer and you're wanting to get into this ecosystem with ERGO and then possibly even deploy your own setup here, I want to peel that from an operations standpoint a little back further, not just an overview of the site and kind of how to start mining, but get into that next layer. Now, how from a developer can you get into this? So we're going to start to try to drive more development related content for the folks. So if you're a developer, make sure you're subscribing and liking and all that fun stuff. All right, my dudes, peace.